Selamat pagi, 大家早上好. Not many people here this morning. I think they are still sleeping, but it's okay. Less pressure on me. Okay, my name is Francis, and I think first of all I would like to thank Mr. Siwa and also Nixon, the MIEA organizing chairman for this MAREC, and also president of MIEA, who invited me here to stand up on this stage to share some of my experience, my company experience in relation to property investment in Sabah. Originally, the topic was given to me is property investment in Sabah and Sarawak, but I told Mr. Nixon that I'm not a property expert from Sarawak, so I don't dare to claim to be an expert on Sarawak. But somehow along the way, along my presentation, I will try to give some remarks or presentation comparison about the property sentiment in Sarawak also, because my wife is from Sarawak and I used to go back to my in-law house every year. So for the past 5 years, as you can see, Sabah property market is conceived as the most vibrant, especially in property sector and residential sectors. Kota Kinabalu has a population of about 450,000. I think the influx of outsider to the city every day is about 50,000, so you have about half a million population. But not to forget to add indoors illegal with IC and also with without IC, which on my guess, I think it's about 250 people. So altogether is about 750 people populations. So my approach of presentations, because as a property negotiator before, I know what you actually want. I give you more photos, less headache, direct to the point, straightforward, and more comparables and pictures. And for some statistic also, I do make the calculation for you, how much per square feet. This is normally what a property negotiator or estate agent would like to hear. So the residential property consists of various types of houses, residential development in KK, among others, single story. I think in 10 years or 15 years ago, if you said you want to find 180,000 single story, it's not a problem. But nowadays, this single story has become a legend talk. You cannot find anymore, except for one recently launched, is about 180,000, and this happened to be my friend. I asked him why you sell so cheap. He said, "Oh, I'm a new player. I don't dare to take in the market price of the land." So, but that property is actually 28 kilometers away from the city center. So for double story development, with a house of 22 feet times 37 feet, in 10 years ago, you can actually buy it at about 185 square feet per square feet, and until now, I think it's escalated to 430,000. The recently launched one project, we call it Taman Famosa. The developer take it at about 650,000 per unit for about 1,200 square feet. So the price can see the increase from almost 185 in the last 5 years to 350 and to 500 per square feet now. Taman Golden Hill is one of the example, launched in 2009. That time sold at about 430,000 or 320 ringgit per square feet. At that moment when they launched, we as a property negotiator also we think that is a bit expensive. This is some other example. And semi-detached houses also has also seen an increase since 2007 till now. And previously, you can still buy semi-detached houses at about 420,000 with a land size of 40 times 85. So it's about 175 ringgit per square feet. And price now, recently, we have this Taman Hilltop Perdana sold at about 850,000 for 2.5 story only. So it is about 350 ringgit per square feet. So this is another example of the semi-detached houses. Okay, and this Dibayan Residency, located nearby Sutra Harbour, is actually within the precinct of Sutra Harbour. Launched in 2009, the selling price is about 1.5 million to 3.9 million. Okay, for about 4,003 over square feet. I think the price per square feet is about 344 per square feet to 578. At that time, people also thought it's expensive, but somehow or other it's fully sold, and I consider those buyers who bought this unit lucky buyer, because it compared to now, it is not expensive in terms, in view of the superb location. For the bungalow, price in 2007 up to now also seen a rapid increase. For a simple bungalow with a land area from 7,500 to 8,500 square feet, we take a precedent of this Kingfisher Park. Previously, it was sold at about 220 ringgit to 250 ringgit per square feet. But now, the secondary sub-sale market, the one unit bungalow in Kingfisher can strike at about 1.9 million. And it is noted here also, Kingfisher Park is not a guarded guarded community. Recently, we have, I think about 2 months ago, we have one bungalow development called Ija. The developer actually selling it at about 400 ringgit to 450 per square feet, and each of the unit, the land area only 5,500 square feet, with a built-up area about 2,300 to 2,800 square feet. The selling price is quoted at about 1.8 to 1.9 million. Came to the apartment. We in KK, we normally associate apartments with walk-up apartment. That is normally 4 to 5 story, with a staircase going up. So most of the ground floor and first floor normally will be sought after by buyers, but not on the 3rd or 4th floor. But somehow or other, a 1,000 square feet apartment was sold at about 180,000 or 180 per square feet in 2007. The water height is one of the similar example, and this university condo apartment developed by Wong Kok Group. They have more or less a similar outlook, similar facade in all of its development, and also similar layout. The built-up area is ranging from 492 to 1,005. Selling price is about 143,000 to 285. If you divide it by the 492, you can see it's about 240 ringgit per square feet. That was about 2008, year 2008. Coming to the recent launch of this University Prime condominium, also developed by Wong Kok. As you can see, the outlook is more or less the same. Some people say this developer not innovative enough, always sell the same layout, same outlook. But I say he is the smartest developer, cleverest developer, because he earned a lot of money by reusing the formworks. It is under a modular system, so probably his profit margin, you can buy one, free one. So you can see for this project also, it costs at about 348 ringgit per square feet. I was made to understand it's more or less like PJ price already, right? Okay, for condominium, we have 2 categories of condominium, which I term it as a medium-end condominium and a high-end condominium. A high-end condominium comprises of more vibrant amenities, like bigger swimming pool, gymnasium, You have a better children playground, this and that, CCTV, whereby the medium-end condominium sometimes they don't provide a swimming pool, maybe a so-called wedding pool, a smaller size to me. So Jesselton condominium was developed by Binapuri, a developer from KL also. That price sold at about 300,000 or 300 ringgit per square feet in year 2008. And the peak condominium, which is completed in about mid of 2007, also sold at about 420,000 ringgit or at 320 ringgit per square feet. And in fact, this peak condominium is seated on the top of the Signal Hill, overlooking of Likas Bay. If any of you have been to Sabah before. So this is kind of property mostly sought after by foreigners because they like to stay on the top of the hill, have a direct commanding and panoramic view towards the South China Sea. But unfortunately, in this design, they don't provide balcony. So they learned their mistake. I think they launched the Peak Vista number 2. They do provide the balcony already. So coming to Putri Damai, okay, this is a project developed by a local developer from Sabah called Wame Group, completed in 2009, sold at 243 ringgit to 541 is for penthouse. Putri Damai condominium completed in 2008 and sold at about 277 per square feet. Now, lately, there are a lot of new launching of condominium in sequence. I think last year we have seen Surian Residence condominium sold at about 285, comprises of about 180 units and fully sold in 2 months. And this D-Vantage, the developer proclaimed about 70% already sold, and then the selling price is about 268 to 342. And this R55 also recorded almost 90% fully sold because we didn't see the developer trying to advertise on the paper again. So the sales must be good. So it's about 333 ringgit per square feet. This is the Vista Peak condominium which I mentioned earlier. They have changed the design. Now they provide balcony, but the price is unlike before. It's about 600 square feet. So the most of the high-end condominium I categorized earlier is mostly sited on the preferred location with a specific ambience. For instance, it's sitting on the foothill or very near fronting the Likas Road, whereby you can have a sea view towards the South China Sea. The Loft Resident condominium actually being part of phase 2 of this Times Square was launched actually in a year, I think, 2010, and also recorded more or less the same level of selling price. That is about 686 ringgit per square feet. And this is the latest one, the Jesselton Residence. I believe most of you have heard about it. The built-up area is 965 square feet to 6,004. The selling price is about 770 units. I see my counterpart, Mr. Stephen Wong, is selling for them outside. You can ask the sales result. The developer actually proclaimed about 60% sold. And this land actually is seated on the sea. And it was auctioned by our auction company before. The calling price is actually 5.6 million. So this, there were 4 bidders. So eventually this, the owner of a jackpot machine owner, who turned himself to be a developer also, bidded the land at about 12.6 million. From 5.6 calling to 12.6 million. So the Jet Residence is another kind of medium-end condominium which I categorize, but without sea view. It's on the hilltop. It's farthest a bit further away from Likas Bay. So I categorize this type of property under a medium-end condominium, and it is sold at about 430 ringgit per square feet, and the developer also programmed about 50% fully sold. The upcoming one I predict is one Likas, developed by Saga Juta, the same developer for this one Borneo. I think the price will not be less than 700 ringgit per square feet. This is sited just in front of Likas Bay. On the commercial property, mostly focus on the shop offices, okay, and others, retail mall. Price in 2007, you can actually buy a unit of three-story shop office at about 570,000. Okay, and especially like Dongongon Square, one of my development, Bundusan Square also one of my development. But the sub-sale price now for the second-hand sub-sale market, you can sell it up to 1 million to 1.2 million. Depending on whether it is a corner or intermediate. The newly launched project, Kolomong Industrial Shop, three-story shop office is calling at 1.4 million. And this location actually, you know, not the primary road, but it's actually considered as a secondary branch road only. So far, behold, we actually don't have any Soho product for sale. Just recently, the Riverson, the newly launched project, Riverson, is selling a Soho kind of office, small office, home office, at about 522 per square feet. Retail mall and complexes, they have already started to have this retail mall development ever since 2007. I think in the past year, Sabah has actually have the most vibrant development in retail mall complexes. There are almost 8 numbers of big retail malls going on and being developed simultaneously in the same period in the past 3 years. We have City Mall and one Borneo. I think at the ground floor is about 950 ringgit per square feet, and the first floor and second floor is about 700 and 800. It is noted here for the past 5 years, even though we have a sequences of more development, but actually the price is still remain the same. It's more or less, you can see our analysis on the later stage. So you see we have 10. One, Borneo Hyper Mall, City Mall, Mega Long, Tanjung Aru Plaza, Star City, Times Square, Surya Sabah, One Place Mall. 2 years ago, most of the agents who know me, they will ask the same question. Can it be done? Is it marketable? So many more UKK have so many more ongoing together simultaneously. But you see, the market proved us wrong. All we have seen here, most of the mall here, retail mall, all completed. And it's fully occupied. But from the rental, from the selling price, you can see there is not much about price appreciation, capital appreciation. So investing on retail mall in a KK market, if you expect for resale value, that you earn the differences on the selling price, I think you will be wrong. But it's wholly dependent on the rental market. At this moment, I think the rental market of a retail mall easily can achieve from 6 ringgit to 12 ringgit per square feet, depending on the hotspot of a particular area, whether it is ground floor, second floor, first floor. So adding to the retail mall, on launching now, we still have the Oceanus Waterfront Mall, which is opposite to Promenade Hotel. And also ITTC Pinambang is also selling more or less the same price. Okay, and come to the next is the hotel suites and service suite. We call it hotel suite because this property actually landed on a commercial zoning. Okay, if it is rendered on a residential zoning, you cannot call it a service suite or hotel suite, but you have to call it a service apartment. That is the two different things in Sabah to categorize the difference between a service apartment and a hotel suite or service suite. So what is the difference? Because developer likes to, you know, call it service suite, hotel suites. They don't like service apartment because apartment bound under our Housing Controller Act. You need to apply a developer license, you have a 30% quota for Bumi Putra, and you have a 5% discount also on the 30% Bumi Putra quota. So developer, if they wish to escape away from this, they have to make it a commercial title. So we have a precedent of Ming Garden, which is completed now, sold at about 700 ringgit per square feet, a fully furnished service suite in 2009. The other one is my project called Royal Kinabalu. In fact, I also have 180 units fully sold fully booked in 2 months. Okay. So the upcoming project for this kind of service suite is the one which I know will be launched soon, a 28-story hot service suite at Jalan Pinambang, and plan to sell at about 600 per square feet. This is with the courtesy of my friend who gave me this slide. Okay, coming back to this, this is what actually you want to see a summary of the price hike on our residential sector. Double story since the most lucrative return property investment in Sabah. If you have had bought one unit of double story, cost 280,000, and now anytime now the secondary market you can sell at about 500,000 and above. So the percentage of the increase you can see is 114%. For semi-detached also more or less the same. Okay, you bought at 420, and if you enter at 2009, then your actually return will be less. So comparing to the prevailing price now to 2007, the increase is recorded at about 107%. Bungalow also the same, is about 100%. And walk-up apartment, you can see is about 58% price increase from 2007 to 2001. And medium condo also, you can see that's what the more standard. And now most developers are going for condos because of the numbers of units and also the sizable volume, development volume. Medium cost condo from 320 ringgit per square feet up to about 480 ringgit per square feet. And the high-end condo is actually from 600 ringgit per square feet up to about 750 per square feet just for the past few years. So summary of the commercial sector, as you can see, 2-story shop office from 485, you rise up to 780, you have a 61%. And 3-story shop office is more lucrative one, the most lucrative income for this type of investment. You can actually, if you have bought one unit 570, now you can sell at about 1.2, and the recent launch is about 1.5 million or 1.8 million. And it is purely because of the rental market. Any unit of the 3-story shop in KK Taipan or nearby the city, you can actually get a rental income of about 6,000 to 8,500 per unit. And Soho, we don't have a much comparison except for the Riverson one. And also the retail mall, as you can see, like what I mentioned earlier, the price is almost the same. From 2007, we take the precedent of Star City, and also 2009 City Mall. And then now what you can see, the 2001, the ITTC, taking the consideration of the similar location. and also the road connection. About what I mean is not road connection, is that whether it is a primary road, a second ring road, or a third ring road. Okay, on part 2, we are going to deliberate to brief you about the segment of the buyers. Most of the question being asked to us is, who are the buyers? Why Sabahan got so much money to buy me? You see, that's always the question. So, in fact, we have done a study. We try to analyze, because I was a Sharida vice president also before, and actually I lead the property research team to conduct this type of research. You see, among the buyers, we have actually, with purpose of owner, self-occupied is 60%. Property investor is about 30%, and 10% is for other purposes, like parents buying for the children. And come to this section, the Chinese, we try to divide it into races also. Sorry to be a bit racist, but this is the fact in property market. Without the Chinese community, I think the whole market will just slump. Chinese business owner comprises of 65%. And with this breakdown, we can see palm oil estate smallholder 25 to 30%. Trader, business operator, entrepreneur about 35 to 40%. Adding up together is about 65%. It is interesting for me to brief you on the palm oil estate holder. Those are actually the very niche group of buyers, but with very strong financial backing, who always become the property investor group. Those are the palm oil owner with a small estate. We have to thank the Datuk Haris government, because during Sabah, in year 75 to 85, every Sabahan can apply land. If you have no land, the government will give you a piece of land, either it is on NT or CL for the Chinese, for 15 acres. Because of this, most of the land are being sold or changed hands to the Chinese community. Some, they are not rich enough, but they are still able to buy at that time about 2,000, 3,000 per acre, for 100 acre, for 150 acre, for 200 acre. And for every acre now, at this moment, the palm oil price, you can easily and comfortably collect 350 ringgit per acre. Say you have about 100 acre or 200 acre, you have a constant income of about 50 to 70,000 per month. And those are the people who become our repeated buyers for any property for investment. They are okay. As compared to Sarawak, that is actually make the difference. Sarawak, because of the political landscape, is being monopolized by one entity, one political figure. As you can see, when they give away the land to their friends of colony, it's all in 50,000 acre, 30,000 acre, 100,000 acre, 150,000 acre. That's why the community doesn't enjoy the turnover of this type of money revolved in the market. That's why you can observe, if come to spending, Sabah is more generous in spending. And also in F&B, in food, Sabah also can spend or pay more expensive food in F&B. Look at Sarawak Kuching, you will surprise, you still can find a kon lau mein, a plate of kon lau mein at 2 ringgit 50 cents. This is a bad thing to me. Okay, so this is make the spending habit of Sabah and Sarawak also make a difference in property investment. So foreigners, we saw about 200 to 300 properties every year to foreigners, almost 15%, and some an outsider that includes Brunei, Hong Kong, Singapore, Miri, and Cebu. And those nations that I mentioned, the most preferred property to them is either shop offices, the number one, and also condominium. For shop offices, because people to any resident of Hong Kong or Singapore, to buy a shop is a dream. That will normally cost them 10 million to own a shop. But you know, you just spend about less than 1 million, you can own a shop. You can go back Hong Kong and tayang to your friend and bring them to have a look of your shops. So Bumiputra buyer normally, sorry to tell you, less than 5%. Who can afford to purchase high-end property or even a medium upper-end property. We have been the agent for SPNB. We have sold almost 4,000 units of SPNB product. For Syarikat Perumahan product or JPN, yes, there are more Bumiputra buyers that I think constitute about 30 to 35%. So the demographic segment for buying residential property can be divided into several categories also. Chinese 50%, 30%, Bumiputra 10 to 15%, foreigner for high-end property 5 to 10%. Because it's constrained by the FIC. No foreigner can buy a property less than 500,000. But if you are an MM2H holder, you can buy 250,000 above in Sabah. Driving force of Sabah property market, of course, wholly reliant on, because when we keep talking about development property, we always neglect. In fact, property development is also one of the important factors driving force. Cases like me as a developer, some of my contractor or subcontractor will just come to me, hey boss, give me the job, I can contract 2 units, 3 units, They are not stupid because they hold the unit and they can have the first selected unit and they can earn even more after resale. And annually we need about, Sharida sold about 7,000 units through the private property development, and it affects property development, actually affects about 140 types. I see Michael Young 140, I put 150 here. Supply and demand. Sabah, especially in KK, is in need of 10,000 units of residential product annually. Due to the migration, the urbanization, because it's a norm, not for KK people to go outside to Tawau, Lahadatuk to invest property, but it's a norm for all the outside district like Tawau, Sandakan, KK to come, Lahadatuk to come to KK and invest. So that makes the difference. So the need of this, we have calculated, is about within the region of 10,000. So you can see at the moment, Sharida, all the property developer in Sabah only produce about 7,000 units, all variety types of residential product, particularly in KK. So it's still not sufficient, for this demand. So you can see those sales record are properly recorded during our PROPEX. I was the 3-time consecutive organizing chairman for this PROPEX. PROPEX is the most suitable avenue for any developer to showcase your property in Sabah. I think this year the PROPEX will be held in August, but providing about 110 booths, but I think now already fully booked. Palm oil industry has become an important sector. The oil and gas. Most people now are actually asking me, the oil and gas is also actively constructing in Kinmanis and also the urea plant in Sipitang. Will it actually contribute to the price increase or capital appreciation on property investment? I say no, because oil and gas, as you know, just like Kete, is fully monitored by machinery. After the development completed, after the construction completed, it will be back to quietness again. So it's run by few person only to monitor the machine. So somehow or other it will actually enhance the rental market at this moment. Okay? The tourism sector is important because I think personally as a developer, we should lend the strength of our tourism strength because Sabah is being blessed by natural beauty and famous for its eco-tourism. So with the completion of KKIA, we have more international connectivities that actually we should allow to bring more foreigners to come into our country. But however, when we speak about foreigners, you know, important tool for those foreigners to keep them to stay in our country is through Malaysia My Second Home program. The government has not been doing a good job. Even our guest of honor, Donor Lim, I think few years back, he was Deputy Minister of Tourism. I actually questioned him. I said, Mr. Minister, why should you only allow a travel agency to open up a company with a bracket of MM2H with a pay-up capital of 50,000 to be the MM2H agent only? Why not you engage all the real estate agency, you engage all the lawyers, you engage all the accountants to be your MM2H agency without having the hurdles to register again another company of 50,000 pay-up capital? I said for real estate agent, for valuers, we actually having our professional indemnity, which is much better than your 50,000 pay-up capital if you want to really to be very stringent on our conduct, you know, by bringing in more agents, more people for this MM2H program. As you know, we have 3,000 real estate agency. If each of us can bring one people or persuade one people to become MM2H agent and stay in Malaysia, because the motive of keeping them to stay here is when they stay here, they will spend money. Every household income, I think they need to have a household expenditure for 8,000. If you can keep 10,000 MM2H applicants to stay in Malaysia, you actually encourage the inflow of about 800 million per year for our country. Not to mention, we have about another 70% of the 10,000 MM2H applicants for rental market, and also 30% for the property investment of our residential product. So the motive is good, but we are not doing good enough. You see, what Donald Lim answered me is that you just follow what we want. Register a company, you know, 50,000. You see, how can Kong Java go and change his name and put a MM2H as for that particular purpose? That's why, you know, there is no participation from the real estate sector. But having said so, maybe this is a good suggestion for me to put it to Mr. Nixon, you know, try to talk to the Ministry of Tourism, to tell them, put our real estate agency as your ambassador. Because if 3,000 estate agents, if you can bring, each of you can bring 10% to stay in Malaysia, it's good for everyone, good for the industry, development industry. So, like what I told you, they are not doing a good job because you can see the MM2H has been loaded for almost 10 years. We only achieved about 12,000 people. And to your surprise, you think Sabah property always being sold to foreigner. We have only 68 approved cases only in 2010. And one factor you have to see, the fact is that not all the applicants would purchase property. Especially people thought Japanese, Korean market, they are not stupid. They will come here, they will stay up to 1 year to test the environment, to really feel like our country, then they will apply for the MM2H. And after being a successful applicant of MM2H, they may not also invest in property, but they prefer for renting. Okay? But in our respect, being as a real estate agent, we actually sell more to foreign property owner, buyer, compared to the applicant. We sold about 200 to 300 per year to foreigners. Isn't it be a bit easier for us to convince those group of buyers who already own property to become a MM2H applicant? And due to our repeated complaints also to the Ministry of Tourism, we tell them, why you need to ask people to put a deposit of 300,000 or 150,000 if they already show their sincerity by purchasing some of our property? That's why recently the rules of MM2H has already amended that you may not need to put a deposit if you have already got the property, acquired the property. They give you a 50% discount from 300,000 to 150,000 if you can show them the evidence that you have already acquired the property. Because the motive and the main objective of MM2H is to keep the foreigner to come and stay here in our country. Another surprise to you, while we are talking about the vibrant side of our tourism sector in Sabah and as compared to Sarawak, I think this one I'm shocked also when I found out from the website the tourist influx to Sabah as compared to Sarawak. You can see we have 2.3 million and Sarawak 5.1. The reason being they are doing promotion on 2008. And out of these foreigners coming, tourists coming to Sabah and Sarawak, actually Sabah only comprised of 700 orang putih, the European or foreigners, true foreigners. And for Sarawak, about 2 million. And come to 2009 and 2010, you can see the difference. Actually, Sarawak have more foreigners coming to the state compared to Sabah. The question is why? There's so much beautiful places, our seawater, crystal blue in Sabah compared to Kuching, Miri, if you have seen the beach, is more milky, yellowish as compared to Sabah. We have a beautiful mountain, we have a beautiful mountain, we have everything as compared to Sarawak. Why? One of the findings that I came to discover is that Sarawak actually possesses the historical merit, the historical site, which has been nicely preserved by the government. You go to Kuching, you have so many historical heritage sites during the Raja Book era. That's why a lot of Europeans, they just want to go to test the mystical, secret feeling of this Borneo in Sarawak. And because of the rich culture of the Iban, of course, I think we have our Kadazan Dusun culture also. But I think this is an important thing. So for Sarawak, I think for the developer, they should actually try to tap this market by having so many of these tourists coming into the state. To my surprise, this one is actually a source from Ministry of Tourism. You can anytime enter to the website and check it out. Okay, come to the part. What is the cause of price appreciation? I think this Datuk EM has already mentioned it also, but I try to elaborate only on the important point because I need to make it a bit faster. Okay, the price of our land cost has been increased because of scarcity, because a lot of people trying to buy land for development. We also face competition from developers from Peninsula and also from Kuching, Sarawak, Miri, Sibu. Okay, land along the primary road, like what I mentioned, is from Tanjung Aru when you come down from Asia Terminal 2 along the way to Sutra Harbour up to Yayasan Sabah. This is the primary road. We Sabahan call it a protocol road. It's our face. When you actually coming down, it gives you a very pleasing feeling, you know, to see KK City. The second ring road is about 8-kilometer radius from the city center, whereby it will strike to the Inanam bypass, the Lido bypass, you know. So those areas, the price has been increased from 30 to 75 ringgit, and 150 for the primary road is 150 to 250. This is from the developer valuations. It's not from C.H. William or Kong Jaffa, because if you ask most of the valuer, I think they cannot give you this type of pricing. When is the third ring road going to build? The one we don't know yet. So I think most of the smart developer has already started to come into acquire land at the third ring road, which is presently still selling at about 15 ringgit per square feet. So competitions, and another factor that making the land price expensive, this is the most important factor, I think, as a member of the center board, because recently we have relaxed the setback rules of the building. Previously, you are using H divided by 2 plus 3. So let's say you have a 10-story, meaning to say you need to have 3 meter per story, 30 meter divided by 2, 15 plus 3, 18. So you must have 18 meter setback. But nowadays, we relax, you can have a maximum 20 meter setback, and your building can go as high as 32 story, not higher than Yayasan Sabah. So aeroport is designed by S.P. Setia, sold at about 8.4 million for 8 story. And the developer, Sarawak developer prefers, development, commercial shop development, because it's low market risk. And we have the few heights, increase of building material cost, and increase of labor cost, higher holding cost by the delay of the development plan, approval, all those things is actually a cost that added to the development value. And also the development market risks. Okay, in conclusion, the prices of the Sabah property, as I can see from now up to another 3 years, it will still going to surge. Lucrative because of the steady rental yield and also the lucrative capital appreciation. And good demand, of course, because there are no auction cases can be seen for even retail mall. So the way forward, as our topic mentions, property investment, property in Sabah, as the price go up, the rental yield will drop and capital appreciation slow down. And also for the property prices escalate, it will somehow hit the ceiling. And then in times to come, when supply is more than demand, that is the way we normally fare, the banks start tightening the end financing. Where are we heading to? I think, to me, I think we should try to lend the strength of our tourism sector in Sabah by providing another kind of alternative property investment, particularly in this leisure property. Lending of our strength of our natural environment, and also our KKIA being the second biggest airport in Malaysia. Investment on land, vacant land is, of course, the best investment approach in Sabah, because Sabah land can be bought and then the CL can be convertible to CL even if it is a native title, but you have to find a nominee to buy and hold. So the capital investment will be huge, because you may need to upfront the cash 100% to buy and keep under a nominee name and apply. And the good thing about Sabah is that all the districts are still adopting a draft local plan. Meaning to say, you can change the color of the zoning. You can use money to change the color of the zoning. Okay? So Unlike Australia, when you buy a piece of land, if it is zoned for agriculture, meaning to say it will be permanently, maybe 5 to 10 years, will stay maintained as agricultural land. But in Sabah, you can make miracle. Once your DP approved, you change it to CL, and your zoning is being approved from countryside to tourism, from homestead to commercial, then the price is escalating. I do encourage most of the property or real estate owner, try to group together. You can invest through carry property. I know Nixon making a lot of money through land deal in Sabah. Okay, so the phenomena of the most slogan for location, you have to be redefined, because I see investment in racial property, and especially in identifying racial property, you must change the motto from location, environment, and people. Okay? The location, the environment is very important, which I can prove to you later on my slide, whereby, you know, location is actually become second. You know, environment is the first. And the people are also important. Who are staying there? Or are you buying near to a graveyard? Or you buying, you know, next to the high tension? And are you buying next to the squatters of illegal immigrants? This is very important. So this is some of my land bank in the tip of Borneo. People actually doesn't care so much about how far it is. Important, it's beautiful. And the most beautiful beach land you can find in Sabah is on the northern region, the tip of Borneo up to Kudat. And to your surprise, this is a silence project which most of you may not know. It's called Lepa Lepa in Mabu Island. That property belonged to a local developer, and they actually silently launched it in Hong Kong. Within 2 months, 80 units of this type of villa are fully sold at 1.6 million US dollar. So racial property is become an alternative resource for property investment in Sabah. Why I say so? Because apart from property investment for capital appreciation and rental market, you serve your purpose for enjoyment. You can treat it as your holiday retreat, retirement home, weekend holiday home, romance and honeymooner, you know, capital appreciation, higher rental yield, as compared to investing in residential or commercial sector only. Okay. So the advantage is having this type of investment, and also if it is being developed by developer, is actually better. You have better advantages by having low capital input, high return of investment. Commercial tourism development is a tourism development is very important, meaning to say you can build the leisure property, but you can also collect daily room rate. Okay, this is very important phenomena, because we have one case in Waikiki. Some property investor actually try to acquire 20 units. Waikiki is a condominium in Tanjung Aru. If you can see, there is a high-story building. So they acquire 20 units, they turn it into a service suite apartment. They try to rent it out, charge a daily rate. I think the investor himself is actually a travel agent. But they got complaint from all the surrounded residents. They have actually brought this case to the court. The court, a judge, is wrong for the operator who bring in the travelers, you know, because today you see different faces, tomorrow different faces, you don't know who are your neighbors actually. So the travelers actually, the investor actually lost the case purely because the title said this is for residential purpose. So you cannot trade it or commercialize it by charging daily rate. So a commercial tourism development is very important in this respect. The zoning must be tourism, but it is commercial. Okay, so you can actually charge daily rate. Why I say low capital input by developer is also important, because for any hotel development, it will easily cost more than 200 million for one hotel development, five star. If you and I, age about 55 years old, you think we will dump 300 million to develop? After all, the collection of the return will be back only in 15 years. The people said, we are in heaven, the money is in the bank. So nobody will do that. So there are varieties of products which fall under resale property. The way I look is beach villa, lagoon villas, which quite commonly you can see in Phuket or in Bali, riverside villa, paddy villa, farm villa, hilltop villa, cliff villa, forest lodge. Those are the products that I think Sabah has the most potential to develop. If you can compare, if you have ever visited Bali, you can compare Bali with Sabah. Our water are much more cleaner, much more beautiful than Bali. And also, I think our culture also have a similar standard with them. So this is the direction I think developer or maybe property investor should look into it. Sorry. So, okay, just a fast one to glance through some of our property in Sabah. This is a land I bought for 50,000 per acre for 30 acres. Recently, I conduct a property report. It cost 250,000. And this is a 65 acres of my land also. It has 5 ascents. You can see is a lagoon, a rich riverside, a beachfront, and over 5 kilometers from this side is a 3,000 acres of forest reserve. And from here you can also see the silhouette of Mount Kinabalu and some of the images. Okay, so this is some of my project. It's upcoming one. I'm not selling expensive, so don't worry. Like this Sabanda, I think maybe a 2-bed one is cost about 850,000. So it's similarly you invest, to a same condominium, but this one you have another additional advantage. Okay, I think the rest, I think I will put it on CD and send to you. And for the tips to all of you as a property investor, recently our Chief Minister have announced to form a company, is fully owned by Sabah government, to kick off a project called Tanjung Aru Eco Park. This is a sketch area that I think you need to share. It's about 100 acres of land along this. This is the Asia terminal. So this is the, to Tanjung Aru. This is a Shangri-La Rasaria Hotel. I believe this development is worth for you to consider to invest because it's run by the government. I believe the selling price will be cheaper. If the condominium or apartment selling at 400 to 500 per square feet, please buy. This one you will get your capital appreciation because this is the best area everyone would like to own, whereby you have a readily existing of about few 10 acres of green park and along the beach. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry.